requires the President in his capacity as the chairperson of the National Security Council to report to Parliament annually on the state of security in Kenya. In this regard, the Chief of Staff and Head of Public Service, via a letter dated reference EOP/CAB.26/4A, volume 48/29, which was published in the Kenya Gazette on Friday, the 15th of November 2024. Further, together with the Right Honorable Speaker of the National Assembly, I notified all members of Parliament and the general public of today's special sitting via notices placed in 3 local newspapers yesterday, Wednesday, the 20th of November 2024. Accordingly, honorable members, this special sitting is properly convened. I thank you.
Your Excellency, Honorable Dr. William Samuel Ruto, CJH, President of the Republic of Kenya and Commander-in-Chief of the Defense Forces, the Right Honorable Amason King, AGH MP, Honorable Speaker of the Senate, Honorable Members of Parliament, members of the Diplomatic Corps, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Article 132(1)(b) of the Constitution requires the President to address the nation once in 2024. Therefore, pursuant to the provisions of Standing Order 22 of the National Assembly Standing Orders, and by Gazette Notice number 15327, which was published in the Kenya Gazette on 18th November 2024, and indeed as also notified to all members of the general public by way of newspaper notification published on 20th November 2024, I gave in the Speaker's role Her Excellency Mama Rachel Ruto, First Lady of the Republic of Kenya, and other members of the First Family. His Excellency Honorable Professor Kithure Kindiki, the Deputy President of the Republic of the Deputy President, Her Excellency Dr. Joyce Kithure, Honorable Musalia Mudavadi, EGH, the Prime Cabinet Secretary and Cabinet Secretary, Minister of Foreign Affairs and Diaspora Affairs. Your Excellency, honorable members, also present in the Speaker's row this afternoon are the Honorable Lady Justice Mwilu, MGH, Deputy Chief Justice, and Vice President of the Supreme Court. She's accompanied by Honorable Justice Mohammed K. Ibrahim and Justice Mouko, Justice William Mouko judges of the Supreme Court of Kenya. Also accompanying the Deputy Chief Justice are Honorable Justice Oscar Angote, presiding judge of the Environment and Land Court. Honorable Your Excellency, allow me to also recognize the chairperson of the Council of Governors, who is also the governor of Wajir County, the Honorable Ahmed Abdullahi, and the Honorable Johnson Sakaja, governor of the city of Nairobi County. May I also accord special recognition to all cabinet secretaries present, and particularly acknowledge 4 of them who are former ranking members of the Houses of Parliament, namely Aden Duale EGH, former leader of the majority party in the National Assembly, Honorable Onesmus Murkomen EGH, former Senate majority leader, Honorable John Badi EGH, Honorable Opio Wandai EGH, both former leaders of the minority. I need not mention that His Excellency the Deputy President is a former leader of majority in the Senate. I also acknowledge the presence of Mr. Felix Kosgei, Chief of Staff and Head of the Public Service, Principal Secretaries, members of the Diplomatic Corps, and heads of constitutional commissions and independent offices and state corporations present. They are all welcome to the House of Parliament. Your Excellency, I wish to make a special welcome to Parliament and mention the Chief of the Kenya Defence Forces, General Daniel Kahariri, who is present, and the respective service commanders, the Inspector General of Police, and other leaders of our disciplined forces who are seated at the Speaker's row. Parliament is grateful for your distinguished service to our great nation. To all invited guests, we say karibuni sana kwa bunge letu. Your Excellency, honorable members, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, it is now my singular honor and privilege to invite His Excellency the President of the Republic of Kenya and Commander-in-Chief of the Defence Forces to address this special sitting of Parliament. Welcome, Your Excellency.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. The Honorable Speakers of Parliament, address you today in the fulfillment of the mandate vested in me under Article 1 National Obligations. Since my last address, Kenya has undergone rapid change, occasioned by the collective awakening of the people in the understanding that the state of nation depends on the work we do individually and collectively. This realization extends not only to what we choose to undertake, but also to how we go about securing careers, livelihoods, and contributing to the grand enterprise of nation building. There we have learned through the hard as well as the more customary ways that listening is a full-time occupation of leadership, and that all questions asked by the people must be answered thoroughly and in full. We have learned never to take anything for granted and make every effort to call all our people, to carry all our people along with us in the pursuit of our transformation. The path we have chosen in our journey of national development and reinforce the commitments we have made to one another and to our beloved nation for the sake of the present and future generations. I do not take this for granted, and with utmost respect. Similarly, many struggling Kenyans impatiently wonder when will real money get to their pockets, and when will the jobs promised, which they deserve, become a reality. Additionally, there has been conversations about our education system, particularly the transition to the competence-based curriculum, and whether policies in this sector are working for or against Kenyans. Important questions have also been raised face a crossroads of extremely difficult choices, where defaulting on our obligations would situation and more borrowing was not an option. It was therefore essential for us to drastically reduce expenditure, mobilize as much as possible resources domestically, and curtail waste. As a first, we haven't been watching helplessly and doing nothing as adversity took a toll on the economy and undermined the livelihoods and well-being of the people. On the contrary, we have been working tirelessly to steer the country country away from the brink of unprecedented economic collapse and onto a more promising trajectory. The second point is that while we may not be where we would like to be, we are certainly not where we were 2.25 years ago. Declined dramatically of import cover, the highest in 10 years. This resilience yields us or shields us from external shocks in the global economy and restores investor confidence. Ladies and gentlemen, interest rates are also trending downwards, reducing borrowing costs and freeing up fiscal space for growth-enhancing initiatives by business. Tax revenues have grown by 11.5% in the year to June 2024, reflecting the success of our tax-based expansion measures. The economy continues to grow steadily, record food imports, securing a more self-reliant and a more prosperous Kenya. This approach, rooted in my administration's policy to support production rather than subsidize consumption, has already made food more accessible, more affordable to many households. Today, Kenya boasts substantial national sources, while 4 new sugar factories are under construction. In July alone, domestic sugar production reached 84,000 metric tons, surpassing the national monthly consumption average of 40,000 metric tons. For the first time in recent history, Kenya is producing enough sugar to meet our local demand. This success is attributed to many factors: subsidized fertilizer for sugarcane farmers, an additional 500,000 acres that has been brought under production, and improved management of the sugar sector, which have revitalized production and brought the industry back to life. I just signed, as you know, the new sugar laws to provide further policy guidance as we seek to be a sugar exporting country shortly. In the coffee sector, we are on track to increase exports from 51,000 metric tons this year to 150,000 metric tons by 2027. The government has also raised disbursements from the Cherry Advance Fund from 2.7 billion to 6 billion Kenyan shillings, complemented by an additional disbursement of 1.5. These interventions are expected to boost smallholder farmer earnings from Kenya shillings 300,000 to 500,000 per acre annually by the year 2027. The sector remains a vital value chain with a quick turnaround impact on households in the economy. The government of Kenya has released, and you members have approved, 3 billion shillings to modernize the new KCC, ensure farmers are paid on time, and 23 out of 40 public universities were technically bankrupt and at risk of closure. Among those facing severe challenges were huge institutions such as my own alma mater, University of Nairobi, Kenyatta University, Moi University, Egerton University, Maseno University, Masinde Muliro University. To address this issue in our education sector, we have already hired, as you know, members, 56,000 teachers, and are in the process of recruiting another 20,000 by January next year. We have also ensured the seamless transition of learners from primary to junior secondary and domiciled grades 7, 8, and 9 in primary school, optimizing the use of existing infrastructure, ensuring the safety of young learners, and protecting parents from the high costs associated with boarding schools far away. Recognizing the financial challenges faced by our universities and TVETs, we introduced a new student-centered higher education funding model. I have given firm instructions that they should be addressed. To further enhance access to higher education, we launched the Open University of Kenya, and this House approved that exercise, paving the way for more students to achieve their academic goals. The institution's first cohort of students is scheduled to graduate next week on the 29th of November 2024. It is not a privilege for the few who can afford, and a pipe dream for the many who cannot. For years, NHIF was saddled with debts and inefficiencies, and healthcare was being severely and negatively impacted for far too long. Too many households have lived on the edge, just one illness away from financial catastrophe. Our healthcare system has historically neglected the poor and vulnerable, leaving them without any option. 3 essential funds. This modern framework ensures that every Kenyan, especially the most vulnerable, can access quality healthcare services when they need it most. The shift from the National Health Insurance Fund model to Taifa Care is fundamental and radical in both scale and character. NHIF, if I give you a bit of an example, NHIF served a few salaries. I therefore urge every Kenyan to take the most important step securing dependable health care for themselves and their families. Register. Register now or at the earliest possible opportunity. Honorable members, for the first time in our nation's history, free primary health care is increasingly becoming available at dispensaries, health centers, and hospitals. Ambulance and emergency services are also slowly but surely being made available at no fee. Under Taifa Care, we have introduced a comprehensive benefits package that brings specialized care such as cardiothoracic surgery within reach for many Kenyans without the burden of financial strain. And it will continue like that going into the future. To date, over 15 million Kenyans have enrolled in Taifa Care, and more than 60% of employers have successfully transitioned into its framework. The newly established Social Health Insurance Fund empowers citizens to contribute towards accessing abroad. As we roll out this program, we are listening to citizen voices and collaborating with counties to deliver better healthcare services. Through the Facility Improvement Fund, which you in this house passed, we will ensure that hospitals are equipped with the tools they need, medicine, equipment, and other resources necessary to provide quality care, while involving citizens in decision-making at every facility. We are now doing the heavy lifting, clearing decade-old debts. And dear Kenyans, we have a date with an urban future. And the only choice we have is what this urban future will look like. Will it be characterized by decent, dignified, safe, and livable neighborhoods and communities? Or will it be haphazard, unsanitary, unsafe slum dwellings? This is the fundamental question that our affordable housing plan seeks to answer. Kenya has a serious housing is unsustainable. People are forced to choose between enduring long, punishing commutes to faraway homes or taking up less desirable spaces within reach. Supplying the number of units required to fill the affordable housing gap requires us to undertake construction throughout the country at the rate of 200,000 new housing units every year for 10 years. Many people have asked why they should be interested in affordable housing project in rural areas. If you look around, you will witness the signs of accounts for 164,000 new jobs created over the past 1 year. Honorable members, today marks a significant milestone in our journey towards providing decent and affordable housing for all. After 2 years of hard work under the Affordable Housing Program, I am proud to announce, and you have seen it in the newspapers, the launch of the sale of the first 4,888 housing units. These units, comprising studios, 1-bedroom, 2-bedroom, and 3-bedroom homes, are tailored to meet the needs of our people, offering 1,041 social housing units, 2,133 affordable housing units, and 1,714 affordable middle-class housing units in 24 counties. I invite every Kenyan above the age of 18 to join this historic journey towards home ownership. Guided by our principle of fairness, one ID, one house, every eligible Kenyan is encouraged facilitated employment of 105,367 Kenyans across multiple countries in a wide range of jobs. These opportunities span professional, semi-skilled, skilled, and unskilled sectors, including positions for nurses, teachers, and chefs. The National Employment Authority, the lead unities for qualified Kenyans locally and underserved areas of Kenya, and making significant strides to establish digital and ICT hubs. This has created a foundation for digital transformation, enabling IT economy workers, young digital creators, and entrepreneurs to access a wealth of opportunities locally and globally. By bridging the digital divide, we are empowering our youth to compete on an equal footing in the global marketplace and showcasing Kenya's ingenuity and innovation. I congratulate members of these 4.6 million Kenyans and mobilized over 3.3 billion in savings. The fund maintains a repeat customer base of 8.5 million beneficiaries with a repayment rate of 79%. To mark the fund's second anniversary, we have taken a bold step by launching a third product specifically tailored for small and medium enterprises. This new initiative will initially target 2 million beneficiaries who have demonstrated a strong credit history, create a patriotic. It has also been enabled by a number of early interventions under our bottom-up economic transformation agenda, and at the same time created space for us to implement implementation, we expect to quickly capitalize on the gains we have secured and invest resources in the economy. You know, we are a democracy and permitted by the Constitution. Protests are conducted by citizens who are peaceful and unarmed. Assemblies, demonstrations, and the government, in particular, must remain vigilant at all times against modern threats to the sovereignty and territorial integrity of our nation, as well as public order, peace, and security. In this digital era, characterized by transformative innovations, including artificial intelligence, it has never been easier to inform, educate, and entertain the subversive elements who infiltrate and hijack peaceful protests are a threat both to legitimate protesters and to the public. Incidences of violent criminality in the name of protests threaten the safety of innocent people, public assets, private property, and the social order. The tension here is stark. We have a democracy which we are proud of, must defend officers to wound, maim, or even kill citizens and claim that they were engaging violent criminals. We all have a duty to make the necessary distinction and to do so clearly to protect democratic expression and guarantee public safety and security. I must now have also turned out to be arrests made by police officers. In such cases, the suspects have been duly arraigned in court. I must, however, make it very clear that there is no attempt to justify or excuse illegal arrests. Such would be a serious threat to the life and liberty of citizens. I condemn any excessive or extrajudicial action which puts the life and liberty of any person at risk, including disappearances and threats to life. I urge all Kenyans with information about such cases to forward the information to the Directorate of Criminal Investigation and to IPOA, where they suspect members of the police service to be implicated. I am aware, for example, that many of the cases that have been raised are being handled by the Independent Police Oversight Authority, an important step in accountability and justice. Many citizens, as well well as various organizations representing and championing women's rights and welfare, have expressed concern about gender-based violence and the increasing cases of killings of female victims by male criminals motivated by primitive expressions of gender-based brutality and impunity. Left unaddressed, these incidences will cause the women of our nation to feel increasingly unsafe, even in their own homes. This is both tragic and unacceptable. It also complicates, in disturbing ways, the struggle by Kenyan women for inclusion, for equality, for dignity, social justice, their rights, their protection, a section of our society that has been marginalized for a long time. I am aware that most of these cases of murder of women by men have been investigated and prosecuted. It is my hope that in due course, those found culpable will face the full force of the law. Members, it is time for each of us, political leaders, public officers, religious leaders, traditional institutions, and family members to do our part in raising boys into morally upright men who will never need to affirm their masculinity at the expense of women, but instead contribute to making our society just, safe, equal, and inclusive. I appreciate women leaders who have taken time to engage me and propose solutions to address this issue. I have held discussions with other leaders in government, and I have tasked the Deputy President to reach out and facilitate collaborative, broad-based, and multi-sectoral deliberations and recommend effective and radically transformative and affirmative action within the next 6 months. This parliament will recall that early in my tenure, I engaged the leadership of both houses with recommendations on a working formula to actualize meaningful inclusion of women in national leadership. We must seriously question the drivers and the motives of resistance and reluctance to take the next step in actualizing the two-third gender rule. We must call out those who continue to sabotage these rights of women to contribute to the governance of our nation. Women are not second-class citizens. They deserve equal representation at all levels. Honorable members, without a doubt, honorable members, without a doubt, every shilling of our national revenue matters and must be used to deliver maximum value to Kenyans. Wastage, corruption, and the abuse to report to this House on the dramatic improvements we have recorded by automating and digitizing our revenue collection and service delivery through e-citizen. We have so far digitized 20,855 government services, up from 350 in 2022, representing an increase of almost 6,000%. While we have significantly improved revenue collection. Take the case of Kenya Wildlife Supplement, the teams at KWS, as well as all other government institutions that have leveraged technology and the digitization process to improve revenue collection. Under the Digital Health Act that you members passed in this House, we are determined to enhance efficiency and transparency provided by technology in the provision of healthcare services to eliminate fraud